Hey folks, we're going to go over the dark reactions now of photosynthesis. But first, I got to get my pencil, so hold on a second. Going down the stairs. See you in a little bit. Okay, I'm ready to roll. Got my pencil. Here we go. The Calvin cycle, also known as the dark reaction. Step 2 of photosynthesis, or part 2. So what happens here? Now, the first part of your notes say, where in the chloroplast does this step occur? All right, that should be the stroma. So that answer is going to be stroma. And next to the 1 here, you're going to write carbon fixation. So what is carbon fixation? Carbon fixation is when CO2 enters the plant from the atmosphere. So you see CO2 comes from the atmosphere, and a new CO2 is attached to a molecule called RUBP, which is an intermediate 5C molecule. Now, how many carbons are in CO2? Well, there's 1. How many carbons are in RUBP? Well, I tell you here, right here, that there's 5. So 5 plus 1 is 6. So you get a new 6 molecule of carbon that is unstable. Okay, it's an unstable 6 carbon molecule, and it wants to do something. Either lose carbons or bond or something like that. Now you take a look at this diagram and you're like, whoa, there's a lot of stuff going on. Remember that this is the chloroplast, and this is the light hitting the thylakoids, and that's starting the light reaction over here. And then over here is going to be the dark reaction, or the Calvin cycle. And we know that so far, we've made a 6 carbon molecule, right? That's what we know. Okay, so now we got to reduce this to something called G3P. So new molecule is modified to make G3P. ATP and NADPH provide energy for this molecule to be created. Remember, we had a 6 molecule. We want to reduce it to a 3 carbon molecule. All right, G3P. And ATP and NADPH provide the energy for us to do that. After the energy is provided, some carbon leaves the cycle, and you can see the cycles over here. Some of the carbon leaves the cycle to create sugar. Remember, the sugar we're talking about now is glucose, C6H12O6. Glucose, baby, glucose. Down here, hey, down here. All right, so step 3, recycling of RUBP is to be used again. RUBP is continually needed to accept carbon dioxide. The remaining 5 carbons from G3P are used to make RUBP again. So your line here says the remaining carbon that does not leave the cycle is used to make RUBP again. Okay? Energy from the light reaction is needed for this to occur. So energy in the form of ATP. So you can find the cycle on your sheet there. It's labeled for you. You want to label a few things, all right? You can see the 3 carbon dioxide coming in there. You want to label next to that phase 1 carbon fixation. You want to put that in there. All right, then you see that there's ATP and ADP labeled for you already, and so is NADPH and NADP+. That's already labeled for you. But next to that below here, you want to write phase 2 reduction. Remember, we went from a 6 carbon molecule to a 3 carbon molecule. And then the other carbon went out down here to create sugar. And it's labeled for you there. And then phase 3 is regeneration of CO2 acceptor, making RUBP again. So why is RUBP made again? In order to recycle the whole, start the whole cycle over again. So the bottom part says overall product of the Calvin cycle, sugar. We've got to make food. This is the last step. Food is ready now for the plant. It can actually eat its food. So when sugar is made, what happens to it? What's the fate of these sugars? Some are used immediately for food by the plant, immediately. Some are stored as starch. Some are used for the building material cellulose, which is made up of the cell wall. One of our trivia questions we had the other day. So these are the 3 fates of sugar. This will be a short answer question on the test whenever we get to it. But you would state, if I said, what are the 3 fates of sugar? This is what you would tell me. All right? That's it for this set of notes. You are now an expert in the light reactions, in the dark reactions, where the stuff takes place, and how to use energy. Hopefully it's stuck with you somewhere. See ya.